GM, welcome to what's going to be another great episode of DevNTell. So, if you aren't familiar, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast held every Friday, allowing founders, hackers, and anyone in between to come on the show and showcase their product. So, today I'm really excited to welcome Veronica, who's the co founder and CEO of Mkinf, standing for Make Inference. So Mkinf is a library of hosted agents to streamline development and deployment of your agentic systems. So if you stick around for today's episode, you'll see Veronica tell us her story behind how she co-founded the company, give us an overview of the platform, and how you can get started using it today. All right, let's get into it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of DevNTell is brought to you by our friends at Arbitrum. Arbitrum is a technology suite designed to scale Ethereum. You can use Arbitrum chains to do all the things you do on Ethereum, but your transactions will be cheaper and faster. With over 3.8 million ETH saved, 1.69 million active wallets, and over 1.7 billion total transactions, why would you want to settle for any less? Get started today by exploring Arbitrum's comprehensive docs and tutorials linked in the description below to help you get started launching your next dApp today. Now, on to today's show. Hello. Welcome to the show, Veronica. Pleasure to have you.
Hello, Norb. Thank you so much for inviting me on the podcast. I'm super excited for this.
Yeah. My pleasure. And really excited for today's topic. We both know AI is all the craze, and anything that helps us develop our agentic systems easier is godsend, so to speak. But before we kind of get into all the great stuff you have in store for us, perhaps would you like to give a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, of course. Veronica from Italy, currently in the UK. I co-founded Mkinf, so kind of like a vertical cloud for AI agent development and deployment. I'm the CEO, but have a background in a more technical space as well. So data science. I've worked in startups as a data scientist before, and then really passionate about startups, so decided to build my own.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a really exciting world to live in. And I guess, how did you first get interested in technology? Like, what led you ultimately to land in the space and go into AI in particular as a data scientist?
Right. So I think I was always like a nerd at core. I always liked, probably started from like a different space. I was like really good at maths or like statistics. I really loved like doing that kind of stuff. And, but somehow I got into the wrong path at uni, studying finance, and just like did not like it at all. So I was like, okay, I need to pivot this. I need to find a way into like getting somewhere out. I mean, you still study mathematics and statistics, but I realized I really wanted to learn coding. So I started to learn coding and ended up with the dissertation in machine learning. But also I was like, okay, how do I actually make myself appealing to the coding entrepreneur out there? Not entrepreneur, but employers out there for, to hire me in this space. And then I was like really passionate about Formula One. So I wrote my first model, a machine learning model, to predict Formula One winners. And that season it did like kind of better than Sky Bet or like other betting platforms. So the article I wrote about it went like kind of semi-viral, and someone in the UK read it, and I got an interview with them and started working as a data scientist for their startup fintech company. So this is kind of how I got into the space.
Dang, that's amazing. And I mean, it just again showcases the power of sharing your work. Like, you never know who's watching, who's reading, right? So it always leads and opens up opportunity. And
No,
I
absolutely,
guess,
absolutely. I'd say it was a lot of luck, to be fair. But no,
yeah,
definitely, I think like starting. I mean, the core of AI obviously is like STEM, like sciences and subjects. So I mean, if you start from like any space, like physics or mathematics or statistic, it's very likely for you to like end up there. Or even if you don't, I think it's for everyone to pick up.
100%. I totally agree. And I suppose, as you were working in the startup in the fintech space, Was there any particular moment where you're like, oh, I kind of had enough of this. I want to start my own startup?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think there was like a pivotal moment. I liked working in the startups I was working at. It was more about I want to have something of my own, and so like in once I kind of realized that and like putting together I wanted to do something on my own, and the millions idea I kind of had every day. I think it was more about like handpicking the one I wanted to actually develop because I had way too many. But then I met my now co-founder Jonathan. He also is a hardcore nerd, one of the very first like crypto investors and miners. And fun fact, like he had like a lot of GPUs that he was like mining on like Ethereum, but then he couldn't like it wasn't profitable anymore to mine crypto, so we kind of just used them for our first MVP actually. So this is where it sparked.
Right on, right on. Yeah, yeah. I mean, gotta put those GPUs to use,
Yeah.
especially now that they're so hard to get. And I guess what kind of inspired you to land on what Mkinf is today? Like, what's the reason you went down this agentic development?
Yeah, you said something that's kind of spot on. Like GPUs were like really hard to find, especially like last year, and this is kind of how we started. So we saw that it was really hard to find GPUs on like AWS or GCP, but there were like so many. I mean, so much money being poured into the data center space. So we were like, where is all this money going if you can't find GPUs? And we actually found out that a lot of like small independent data centers that really kind of no one knows about and do not have all the the software stack on top, we're really running a like maybe 60-70% capacity. And that's bad, obviously, from like a cost perspective, but also like ESG metrics. And even within the allocated capacity, maybe only 20% was being utilized. So we're like, okay, let's start optimizing this infrastructure. And so we built like a pool of GPUs, like kind of going standardizing different accesses and protocols across small independent data centers, and make this like kind of Airbnb of GPUs. So when you have them available, you can make them available for other people to use on demand. But the end goal, the idea was always to like simplify AI workloads. So initially we started like kind of last year with, I mean, obviously generative models have been around for some time, and it was the time to really make inference of these models, and because people were like utilizing them a lot. But when you make inference of a model, you never really know what to expect from the usage of the users. So you might have a peak of like thousands of users and then like down to the tens. And so having an infrastructure that is really capable of following along with that is like kind of difficult to set up. So, and also from a software engineer having to deal with all those infrastructure decisions, it's probably something that you'd not, I'm not particularly passionate of like handling. So we're like, okay, let's create a platform that is able to abstract all those infrastructure decisions and make inference of AI models just really seamless, one click. But when we started, fortunately, a lot of other companies and startups gained momentum like really, really quickly, like got access to funds very, very fast. And then we were like, okay, I don't think there's too many people doing this. I think there's still a lot of space, but we're like, okay, let's try to differentiate ourselves in some way and kind of be back on top of this wave rather than following them. And we're like, okay, what do we have to make inference of? What's the next thing in AI that we can like streamline the deployment of? And they were like, well, AI agents were kind of really gaining momentum. And they were like, okay, and I don't even think the AI agent boom has like really even boomed yet. Obviously models have been around for some time, agents much less. So we're like, I think we've got like some more runway to prepare for like people using massively AI agents. So we're like, okay, let's reposition ourselves as a platform to kind of vertical cloud rather than focusing on AI models, focusing on one-click deploy of AI agents. But because, again, we're still in the phase of like building these AI agents, we do not want to give you just the one easy click deploy. We want to also help you build these AI agents. And because AI agents, the way they're built, obviously they sit on top of LLMs, and then they are equipped with different tools, functions that developers often need to write from scratch, or like take from GitHub repositories, but they still need to sift through like hundreds of lines of code before finding what they need and figure out how to integrate it. So we're like, okay, everything in coding eventually like consolidates into libraries and like more modular pieces. So let's turn this like monolithic code base into like more modular pieces and package up those GitHub repositories into like one line integration and host them. So like if you're looking, for example, of you're writing your agentic system and you need a function, or you need to write something that is able to extract data from a website, it doesn't make sense for you now to build one from scratch. There are literally companies that are building vertical scrapers that only do that, and you're never going to have something that optimizes like someone who does that every day. So what you can do, you can go on the Mkinf library, search for your use cases, so like a scraper in this case. You can obviously look at the code and modify if needed, which I think for a developer is like super important, having something open source that you can still inspect all the code, but you don't need to worry about, okay, what kind of piece do I need to import and copy and integrate and then host. Then all that code is like packaged up into like an SDK, SSC, API, etc. And then you can like import it into your code base. So like, for example, from Mkinf, import the tools that you need, and they're already hosted. So when you run your code, you don't really need to take care of deployment, as every agent and tool is again hosted as a sandbox will spin up. So it's like dedicated and secure environment for each agent and user. So we go from like giving you those like building blocks, kind of like Lego pieces, so you can build your AI agent faster and in a more modular way, kind of like plug and play. Okay, maybe that tool is not the right one for me. I don't need to restart everything from scratch and throw everything away. I can just like pick a different tool. So this is kind of the idea, and then obviously, once you built it, we want to support you with the deployment as well, and don't have to worry about those infrastructure decisions. And I think it's kind of I'm not gonna say it's like trendy at the moment, but like these like very vertical clouds like Vercel for apps, or Together AI again for models, like having these like vertical clouds that allow you to deploy that one thing, and it's like you don't need to worry about anything else. I think it's kind of what we are seeing right now in the space.
Yeah, and like myself, I found myself sticking with Vercel for a lot of my side projects just because it's so easy, right? It's like not Vercel isn't a sponsor of the show, not plugging them,
Just mentioning.
but yeah, just mentioning that one click magic, right? Of like, oh, I built the thing, bang, now it's like deployed and hosted and available to the world. It's a very powerful construct.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
we kind of like think of Vercel for AI agents, so that's kind of the direction towards we're going.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it. Describe the company in 5 or less words. There you go. And so just to review, it seems like the core components of Mkinf are this cluster of GPUs that you have to host the models that power the inference, and then you have this library of AI agents, either crafted by your company or people in the open source community, and then they come together to make this marketplace essentially of AI agents that people can plug and play into their agentic workflows.
Yeah, precisely, exactly. You explained it maybe better than
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. Of course, yes.
Well, I mean, got to do a TLDR eventually, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like a very interesting kind of pivot from a lot of people who are still doing the the infrastructure side of all this, hosting these models and whatnot. I guess this is a good segue if you want to start sharing your screen to kind of
Yeah,
walk through the platform itself. But
of course.
um, this marketplace, these agents, are they fully open source? Can people also upload closed source versions of their
Yeah, this is actually a good
agents?
question. So right now, because we don't want to like we just launched a product like 2 months ago, so we don't really want to overwhelm the users and the platform with like a million tools and agents. So it's still like kind of curated library by us, like covering main use cases like browsers, scrapers, or integration with the different platforms like Slack, Notion, or Supabase, for example. And these are all open source. As we grow, obviously, we've already started taking contributions from the community that want to host their agents, and they can either do that obviously privately or publicly in the library, and then they can kind of decide whether they want to like obviously show the code or not. And in that case, obviously, by our developers in the community maintaining the agent and maintaining the tools, we have in place, a little spoiler, we have in place obviously a remuneration like a program. Obviously, if you maintain the agent and everything, you get a chunk of the hosting and everything.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there's any monetization opportunities. So it seems like as long as your agent is maintained, kept up to date, then you get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, of course. No,
Awesome.
and I think it's obviously that I'm saying there's no money in the open source, but obviously by putting together the hosting and then everyone contributing, we want to like kind of give them a piece of the pie that we're building.
Awesome. Love to hear it. And just curious, your co-founder being or having a background in crypto, um, have you decided at all if there's going to be any sort of like token around the platform? Maybe this is a roadmap thing or alpha thing.
Uh,
If it is, you don't have to say. But
it's
yeah,
to be. We'll see.
TBA. Okay.
We'll
Okay.
have to discuss
TBD.
it in the roadmap. There's
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
obviously like a lot of stuff to do, and obviously like people, I feel like understanding that this
Yeah.
is a cool space to be in, and obviously with, for example, MCP registries out there, MCP being a model context protocol, a new protocol for building AI agents, and right now there are like a lot of servers out there that are like being kind of collected, as you were saying, like registries or marketplaces, but you still need to download these servers and host them. And obviously the next natural step for these registries would be to host these servers. And I mean, we're already there, but to really stay ahead of the curve, you need to integrate emerging technologies before they even emerge. That's kind of the thing. I feel like developers
Yeah.
like shiny things, and they're the first to pick up on new trends. And obviously when building for developers, you really need to have that kind of mentality.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Well said. And yeah, I'm really curious to kind of see what the platform is all about.
Yeah,
So
of course.
yeah.
I'll share my screen. Let me present.
And for those of you watching on the live stream, if you have any questions for Veronica, please post them and we will get those answered for you. All right.
All right.
Insert.
I hope you can see my screen. As I mentioned, we launched like 2 months ago, so this is going to be looking way nicer soon in the future. As I mentioned, I mean, once you sign up, you're going to be prompted to create your profile and create your API key to actually utilize our platform. As I was saying before, we've integrated and hosted different agents and tools ranging from browser scrapers or various platform integrations. The way each repository is structured, I'll just show you one, is like kind of very similar to GitHub. I mean, building for developers, we kind of want to build something for them they're already familiar with. You can inspect the code and the files in here, and you also have a link to the GitHub page here. And you got the README here, and obviously the main let's say there are contribution, despite, I don't want to minimize it, but it's just kind of this like purple box that package up the code, either that being a GitHub repository or an MCP. And you can, I'm going to probably zoom in a little bit, and you can like integrate it with a Python SDK, SSE, or HTTP request. You also got, I mean, for this particular agent, you only got one action that you can perform, but for others, you can see the actions that you can perform more in detail with the input and the output. Now, once you've selected the tool that you want to be utilizing, that this one, for example, is able to extract like schemas and content from GitHub. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be copying this into my code base. This is like a super simple graph. I hope you can still see my screen. This is like a super simple graph with an OpenAI model underneath here and a very, very basic logic. So a few edge nodes here and there. And you can, so what I'm doing here, I'm like importing from our library the tools that I'm needing. So if in this particular case, only just getting just one, I can potentially list multiple ones here. Now, once I wrote the graph and the logic that I want here, we just built a super basic Streamlit UI on top, so that I can just like see the tools that I'm utilizing, and I can just chat with it. So for example, I can ask it, get me the readme of this repo, Mkinf io.github. And obviously, depending on, well, first my internet connection and the task that you've asked it, it's going to take like different amount of time. What takes like when I run the code, it took like less than a second to spin up a sandbox. Actually, here it gave me the response. Spin up a sandbox. So this is not running locally on my machine. It's already like running in the cloud. So spin up a sandbox. It's a dedicated environment for each tool. So if I had multiple tools, it would be like multiple sandboxes and just dedicated for me. Now, we also made an integration with Cursor for all the vibe coders out there. I'm going to show you. So yeah. So basically what you do, you just, actually there's a new way now to import a new MCP server on Cursor, but the previous way you can just like list multiple in a JSON file, the SSE that you can find here. Now I have a few available ones. I'm gonna spin them up. I'm actually probably gonna be using only a couple of these anyway, and I need to wait for it to spin up, and I can just chat with it. So for example, I can ask it. Use Playwright, which is actually a new tool, Playwright. Okay. To go to Mkinf.io and, for example, get all the blog posts. I don't know, in a JSON format. Hopefully the demo gods are with me. Now here it's understanding, I mean, I've actually already prompted it to use a Playwright, but it's calling the MCP tool, and it's understanding which tool here on Playwright. We got 25 available tools, so it's understanding which tools actually, which action to perform. It's navigating in the website, understanding what it needs to extract, go on the section of the blog post, getting a browser snapshot, and now obviously change a couple of things. I've identified a section, thoughts on AI. So here, did I not say JSON format? Okay, I don't know. Would you like to include a JSON? Okay, I would like. Would you like to the JSON? I would like the JSON to include title, subtitle, and date, for example. Anyway, this went way better before when I did it. Sorry about that, but yes, now it's given JSON with the article, the recent article that we wrote. Definitely should upload a lot more since late January. Yeah, so this is what I got. So it was able to navigate to the website, get the content that I wanted, and give me a response. This is again mainly using this is using cursor and so you're just able to chat with it. Obviously the real power comes from like putting more of these together and making them communicate with each other and creating like again a cool graph system for integrating multiple systems and endpoints. Now, maybe a cool one I wanted to show you so that you can actually see how to get started with Mkinf. I can just say use Playwright. I clearly have a difficulty writing Playwright. Use Playwright to go to Mkinf.io. Then I say in the nav bar, click on the docs and extract the first step to get started. Okay, let's see what it gets me. CalMCP tool, browser navigate. Again, this is all hosted as well. Like the real power is that it's production ready tools and agents that we are making available for people to use. Now it's utilizing a few. I think it went into a loop that. Okay, the first step to get started, create a Mkinf account. You go on the Mkinf, so hub.mkinf.io, so sign up, and obviously during the beta period, all accounts receive unlimited free credits. So yeah, this is how to get started. I hope I'm still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's great because this was one of the questions I was going to ask. So you got AI to do it for you.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's good. Glad it worked. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Yeah. No, you'd be surprised how many people have issues with demos. So yours went great. So
Glad.
yeah. And so firstly, that's really, really cool. And I wanted to highlight, like, it took about, I think it was 3 or 4 lines of code for you to import the library, pull in the model, and then basically plug it into the rest of your existing workflow. And I think that's a really powerful construct, just because there's like so many different AI frameworks out there, and you guys are doing a great job in just making it really stupid simple for people to plug and play with any model that's in the marketplace there.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I want to be absolutely clear about is that, I mean, you mentioned so many frameworks out there, like LangChain, AI, small agents, etc. And we want to be, obviously, to start with, as open as possible. Like you can utilize whatever framework you want onto our platform, whether that being, again, LangChain, AI, etc. So yeah.
And can you speak a little bit about how someone would basically bring in their AI agent into the marketplace? Is there an importing process, or do they just fork a starter template?
Yeah, of course. So right now onto our platform, you can there's a section for like new repository, and you can add it there. We're working on a UI that's going to be like ready, available very soon. But we are also like super active on our Slack and Discord communities. So if you have any, like, you can just chat with us. And I mean, even if there's no UI yet for like putting stuff into production, you can still put stuff into production through us, and we'll still update you on the monitoring of the utilization and everything. But the UI is coming really soon.
Yeah. Excellent. Great to hear. And obviously, you're very gung-ho on AI agents, as am I. And we basically will see them evolve over the next few years. And just want to get your perspective of like how you see these AI agents evolving and how they're going to be part of people's day-to-day, whether they realize it or not. Just curious to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely. I think the this like tool integration is definitely going to be like the norm. They'll take actions, run code, query APIs, and in terms of like, I think like there's like a difference to draw here between like AI agents and models. Obviously, with like models, they're like super generalist. They need lots of resources to be trained. So I feel there's still gonna be like in the hands of like companies that have those resources to like train massively and make really good models. But because all the data in the world doesn't fit into a single LLM, and also, I mean, that data is like proprietary, they do not have access to it. What AI agents will enable is like this data like kind of like empowered with AI. So what I'm imagining, I mean, for certain AI agents like browser scrapers, obviously probably be condensed into like a few powerful and really good players. But when it comes to agents that are like, let's say, experts or like have access to specific data into like the medical field, the law, finance, etc., and are owned by big enterprises, what I'm expecting is like a domain specific agent, so like a verticalization of all these agents, and will be where we'll get access to this data. I mean, we're probably not going to see the data, but still we'll get access and we'll be able to chat with them. So this is kind of where I see the AI agent market going, and I don't think absolutely we are there yet, because like these enterprises right now, they're just like incorporating LLMs right now, and they're just understanding how powerful these can be, and maybe in a few, I'm hoping months, but I don't know if it's going to be months, they'll start using AI agents as well.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they didn't. I mean, like if you can spin up an AI agent to do the mundane tasks that would take up like an hour or two of your time, like why not? You can use that hour or two to do more productive work. But yeah, I mean, I share the same viewpoints, and I think yeah, AI agents are going to be a staple, whether people realize it or not. And just curious, is there anything you can share around the Mkinf's roadmap? I know you said UI improvements and whatnot, but anything further you can share
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
of
helpful?
course. I mean, we're still a small team, so we definitely want to get more power on the team to build faster. Definitely, one thing that I can say it's definitely on the roadmap is the use cases that we're gonna offer onto our library, like expanding a lot more, especially with the. There are like certain use cases that are more difficult to integrate, like with memory tools, for example. Like we want to tackle those, or also offer, I mean, right now you kind of just saw text input and output, but having different media as well. So for inputs and output, voice, video, image, etc. So that's definitely that. With MCP, despite being kind of like being validated as a protocol, I still think there's a lot of work to do around that, especially around authentication and everything. So we'll see how that evolves, and we'll obviously like keep up with that. But then also, because the end goal is the one click deployment, really being able for you to not think about what's running underneath. That's really the end goal.
Amazing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Mkinf continue to evolve. It already looks really, really great. If you're a developer looking to tinker with AI agents, give Mkinf a try. The link to their website is in the YouTube description, as well as the Spotify description if you're watching this after the fact. And with that, I just want to thank you so much, Veronica, for taking the time out of your day to come chat with us.
Thank you, Narb. It was a pleasure to be here and show you guys what you're building. Get in contact if you like it, or like any feedback. Happy to chat with anyone.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you. So, what's the best way for people to reach out if they want to get in contact?
Any really, like I'm on LinkedIn. I'm, if you want, I can give you like our Slack channel, and you can join us on our platform. We post like demos on there, so like happy to get in contact with anyone.
Amazing. Yeah, we will share that, share those links in the description. And yeah, just with that, want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend wherever you may be, and we'll catch you back here for another great episode of DevNTell next week. All right, have a
Thank
good one.
you.
Cheers.